Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Prospect Central. Whoops, 101. My name is Chris, and today joining me we have,
Braden.
and we're going to be watching some Levi Onwuzurike with you guys today. He is a defensive tackle from Washington who is the Lions' second round pick at number 41 overall in the 2021 NFL Draft. So it looks like we have two games to watch with California and Washington State. He wasn't opt-out last year, as along with Sewell, so we don't have any 2020 tape, unfortunately, for that reason. But you are resident Pac-12 expert on the channel, so I'll let you
Yeah.
give us a little bit of a preview on what to expect going in.
I mean, he's an absolute monster in terms of run defense. He's like a black hole. Like if he can get your hand on somebody, the play is over. He's not going to be the best pass rusher, but considering you have a Lee McNeil now to counteract that, he's going to be an absolute machine on rundowns and just general getting penetration and the penetration.
Sweet. So yeah, definitely heard a lot of good things about his athletic ability, which is something
Yeah.
that stood out. Uh, very well. That's kind of been the theme for the Lions' overall draft in general. If you take a look at all four picks, I talked about that a little bit on DLP. So that'll be interesting to kind of see as well how he ends up looking as an athlete on tape. Definitely heard a lot of different things about his explosion, amongst other things.
Yeah.
Uh, Very, very low missed tackle rate. 4% missed tackles is the lowest among all draft eligible players at all defensive positions. So,
Again, goes with the black hole type thing.
yep. So, yeah,
Yeah.
very, very solid, reliable tackler, which is great. Very much something that we've been missing for a long, long time. I think the last solid tackler that we had at the interior, well, to be honest, on defense, other than Okuda, was probably Damon Harrison back when we traded for him in 2018. So definitely something that's been missing from our defense for a little while here. And I'm going to see if I can pull up his RAS score so we can
Yeah.
take a look at that on my
While we're
iPad.
there, when I say he's not the best pass rusher, and it's more so of he doesn't really have a pass rush set. Like I, I think if you needed him to, he could be someone who just really collapses the pocket, which allows other people. But he's not someone you're going to be seeing doing a ton of moves to get sacks. He's going to be mainly that one who pushes the pocket and collapses it, which allows everyone else on the line to get home.
Very nice. Okay. So maybe seeing a little bit of that Rams style penetration on the inside with the collapse on the exterior to kind of maintain that mobile quarterback defense
Yeah,
that we still need to have.
which you're going to need if Jordan Love can run.
And Justin Fields. We got Justin Fields in the division now too. And then the Vikings took Kellen
Yeah,
Mond today as well. So if he's the backup
yeah,
playing for Kirk Cousins, that's going to be a pretty mobile division.
yeah.
So I have found Levi's RES score here. It's a total 8.75, which is in the green zone. Very significant portion of that was his 40, where he had a 4.88, which is faster than Jalangi Tavai, by the way, at a
Is that
9.
for real, or are you being hyperbolic?
I'm kind of being hyper. I think it was only 300 of a second slower. I think Tavai ran a 4.85.
Regardless, the fact that that's a legit question I have to ask it shows the shows. Yeah, the to be honest, that shows more how slow Tavai is more than fucking how fast. Yeah, so I'm like the fact that I even have to make that question unironically shows that he is, as my friends would say, Tavai is an absolute hoss.
But yeah, I think Tavai ran a 4.85 or 4.8 or 4, and it was somewhere in the 4.8 to 4.9 range. So he's in that range. Uh,
Paris Ford type beat.
yeah. Good 10-yard split as well, 1.7 seconds, which I'm almost positive was actually faster than Tobias at 9:05, and his 20-yard split was a little bit slower at 2.9 at only 7.73. Undersized in terms of weight, only 290 pounds, which for an interior defensive lineman comes out to 3.16. And then good to average explosion, 30-inch vertical, which is 70 percentile, and 9-inch broad jump, which is a 78 percentile.
You mean
So
nine
both,
foot broad jump?
yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, 9 foot 1 inch.
Okay, I thought so. I was like, good lord, dude. If that's the 70 percentile, or maybe I could be top of D lineman. Good lord.
No, yep, that was my fault. And
Yeah,
6'2" and 7/8 as well, so basically
yeah,
6'3" in terms of height.
yeah, yeah. He's a bit undersized, but I think he has room to add about 10 pounds. I think he can get up to that 300 range.
Still,
Maybe,
this. Oh, you go.
yes, not literally going to be like the absolute giant like you're going to see from Shelton or Harrison, but definitely someone who will be strong enough to hold his own, even at just 6'3", 200, 300.
Yep. And still, despite that, though, he has a pretty good bench. He ended up getting 30 reps in on the bench, which is pretty good. That's the 78th percentile. Yeah, 78.5 percentile there. So, still, despite that lack of weight, a good portion of that weight is muscle mass. So, can definitely add a little bit more pounds at to get that size up if you absolutely need them to.
Hmm.
So, with that taken care of, anything else you want to add before we get into the actual tape side?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Let's start with the California game here. And actually, because this is my first time watching him, I want to get an actual grade on him. I will get my notepad here, or my whiteboard. Oh, I missed that rep. Do we have a number on him?
I will look it up.
Oh, okay, that might help.
I think it's something like 45, 95.
Yeah, it looks like it ends in a 5, so we can at least place him here as this interior guy. And the first thing that stands out to me, I don't know if you're seeing this,
Yeah.
he got off the snap really nice
Yeah.
there.
95.
Cool.
95 is the number.
And he actually starts off a little bit behind the line, interestingly. I wonder if that's intentional. Still, yeah, it's a really nice jump. Okay, so playing that 3 tech spot as we are told to expect going in, which would make sense given the size as well. Oh, nice little swim move. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Jeff Riston, when he was on the DLP podcast earlier, he mentioned, oh my gosh, he said to watch out for a club move. Apparently, that's his biggest pass rush asset.
Yeah. I can concur with that opinion.
And yeah, the get off is
Very good.
absolutely the thing that's standing out to me so far.
And the thing that I think he lines behind the line a bit intentional. So if he goes a bit early, he's still not offsides.
Okay, so that could be coached. Here we get to see
That's
him
a
at,
guess. I don't know that as a fact. That's just my spitballing theory.
gotcha. So this is a little bit interesting here. Lined up at the defensive end spot, and that's something that we are going to be doing. Rams in particular are known for that, putting their heavier guys on the end spots. We've talked about doing that. In fact, we are going to be doing that with at least Brockers, and most likely Deshaun Hand as well. So he could be a guy that's part of that rotation at the end spot too, which is interesting, at least based on this particular rep. Okay, a little bit of a counter to shed that. Okay, like the aggressiveness with the hands as well. It seems to have very active hands. Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay then. Oh, what is that formation?
What is that one? Yeah. I mean, he sort of made it work.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely ended up working out as they were playing it too. He got really nice pocket claps in there. Okay, another that was a screen pass, but still, I just see a little bit of move flash. So Holmes mentioned during his pre-jet or not pre-jet, post-jet presser today that apparently we tried to trade up into round one to land him, as high as round one to land him.
Hmm.
And I've seen at least two, if not more, different people on Twitter that are pretty well-known, respected draft geek people have him as their defensive tackle one this year. And it's so far he seems to be showcasing the skills as to why that'd be the case. Okay, nice job of anchoring there against the double. Slides inside, so you're getting to see some versatility. Oh, okay. You're definitely getting to see some versatility. We've seen him line up on the end a couple times. We've seen him line up at the three tech. Majority of the time, that's probably where his best fit is, especially at 290. And then here we're getting to see him line up at one inside, and he's actually going to be the guy who splits this and makes the play at the line, and actually behind the line. So versatility here seems to be a strong positive here. Okay, nice move set. Good block, good shed, good counter. Here's back at three. Johnson doubles, which makes sense. He's most likely the best player on that line. Okay, nice little move. A little bit of a rip. Here's John the double. Doesn't really get moved back all that much either, so nice, good, strong core anchor. Same thing, draws the double, doesn't get moved back until the very end of the play. Okay, good for a strong punch. Unfortunately, a big
Unfortunately, no
counter.
one else decided on the defense decided to contain.
Yeah, he gets really nice force back here, and even the guy around the end, the corner on the blitz, uh, at least forces a redirect with him. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but the
the
left
opposite.
side of the line, yeah.
And the linebacker. Where's the linebacker? What?
Pardon?
Okay, so definitely a little bit more versatility than I was expecting coming in.
That's a thing.
A coverage shot for a defensive tackle. That's nice to see. Okay, nice little move set there as well. Doesn't end
Yeah.
up working, but okay. Like the active motor. Yep, nice move to get around. Okay, good anchor, nice motor. Okay, that's nice to see. And I like how he sets this up too, and that was actually really well planned out pre-snap.
Hmm.
because more often than not, like he knows that that guy's coming next to him, right? So he
Yeah.
probably planned that pre-snap to set that up outside and then stunt that back in because he knows that that blitzer is taking that guy around the counter. So that almost certainly was planned pre-snap, which is really nice to see that pre-planned rush move. And the variance of moveset so far has been a pleasant surprise too. And yep, there's another one. Doesn't really end up doing much because the double team, but
Yeah.
really nice, smooth, efficient movement there, which is at the very least indicative of that pass rush move upside. And yep, there flashes it again. And there's the nice motor. Get to see a little bit of the speed. Okay, try it.
I ain't even know he showed up.
Okay, good tackle. Talked about that at the top. Very sound, fundamental, reliable tackler.
Mm. Yeah, there's definitely a pass rush upside. I'm just not sure if it's going to be anything crazy. He's mainly going to be the guy who just bull rushes people back and collapses the pocket from the interior.
For
I
this
think
guy's,
that's what he has pass rushing moves, but I think that's where his best is going to be. So I don't know if he's ever going to be a 10 sack guy, but he certainly is going to be someone you're not necessarily going to automatically take off on third down.
yep. In year one, he probably will be primarily a third down guy, at least initially, considering all the other guys on the team. Nick Williams, Panasini, not a third down guy, as much as I like him. Really, ideally. Brockers, okay, he might get a majority of the snaps, but he's going to be rotational amongst many, many others in our defensive line rotation. But at the same time, we're also seeing him line up at end a couple of times. So, okay, good shift. Nice counter. Okay, good anchor. Nice. So, thoughts through game number one.
I mean, he's very. Okay, threw me off for a second. Through, I mean, very physically dominant, very strong. Very fundamentally sound. Going to be someone who's really reliable as a run defender. Has pass rush upside.
Indeed, pass rush. What are the other two I have on here? Athleticism and mental, I think. Uh, that would make sense. Yep, I was right. Athleticism and mental. Athleticism and mental. Okay. Let's double team draw. Oh my. So yeah, there's that bull rush that you mentioned a few times. He's really nice drive here. Good inside hand placement too. Big reason for that. Okay, nice. That's a double team. He's moving those both guys back.
Mhm.
That's freak athleticism. And he actually got through that double team too. Nice. And
Definitely shows a good rip move.
yep. And the ability to not necessarily chain, but go to a second move here. He's not necessarily giving
Hmm.
up on the play indicative of that motor, uh, but instead of just getting stuffed by the double and trying to split through, decides to go around it and attempt to penetrate that big interior there. Both of these teams that we've seen so far have doubled pretty consistently. Uh, so he's definitely one of those attention getters, which is huge considering that the only guy that we had that was anywhere remotely respectable last year consistently was Trey Flowers, and that was even when he was
Quara.
healthy. So if he can maybe draw a double or two away from Trey, that would be really nice. Yeah, 11 the motor. 1327. Oh, lost balance. Unfortunate. Oh my gosh. Yeah, just like again the attention. Well, we'll probably see it better from the other view. But and there's three guys in that spot.
Hmm.
And the guy in front of him.
Four.
He's
Oh,
more so going on route, but still.
he
Uh,
has three fucking people on him. And somehow, thank you, corners. Just let that dude split wide open in between three of you.
okay, there's another nice little spin counter there. He's definitely more refined than a lot of the other interior defensive linemen that I've watched the last few years. There's been some defensive tackles that have gone pretty early in day one even that haven't necessarily had the moveset upside
And
that Levi's indicating here. Yes. And yep, this is exactly the type of thing that we want to see from him coming to Detroit here, right? He
mhm.
draws the center out, and while rushing four, you've got three one-on-ones here. So if that's Trey Flowers, if that's Lee McNeil, if that's Michael Brockers, if that's Romeo Okwara, if that's Deshaun Hand, whoever else happens to be along with him on that defensive line, if he's drawing the double and they're five-man pro with four-man rush, that's three one-on-ones, including most likely Trey Flowers at one of the other three spots. That's a good setup. And in this case, it works out. What was that throw, by the way? And yeah, they're getting him to move around, and because of that, the closest receiver is this guy.
Nice.
Just nowhere near the receiver. And oh my gosh, the drive. You're really getting to see a really nice drive here. Great bull. Force the quarterback out of the pocket.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's definitely and the thing is too is what we're saying?
Nothing.
Oh. The other thing that's ooh, that was nice stuff. The other thing that I've really been noticing is he seems to have a really good idea of rush lanes and gaps. So those mental traits really do seem to be showcasing themselves. He's doing a really nice job of positioning himself to draw doubles. He's doing a really nice job of splitting doubles with the rush lanes. He's doing a really nice job of getting around doubles when they double team him, recognizing and processing the lane post snap and pre snap on where he's supposed to go and where he's supposed to be. So that's really nice to see is that those high-end mental traits. But at the same time, you're also seeing the physical tools with the athleticism, and you're seeing the technical tools showcase themselves a little bit too. Yep, that guy's kind of watching him. That guy's shadowing him a little bit before he goes on the route, and because of that,
Yeah.
he got the 2-on-2 for the easy sack. Yeah, same thing. What's going to happen is he's going to draw 65 out just enough to let 94 inside. And once 94 gets past 65, he brings out that move, forces the hurry throw, almost intercepted. Okay, nice rush lane there, and again, finds that gap really, really well.
That could have been a hold.
Yep, same thing, just splits that double so nice. This gap recognition is elite. And getting through there, flushes him out, forces the run. Mental traits are fantastic. Nice. Good play on his
Mm.
part. Draws the double here, takes away that gap, but then gets out and forces him to run out right into the contain rush. Beautiful. That was probably a little bit of a hold there, it looked like.
Just a bit. These refs are not calling a damn thing.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Little drive. Oh my gosh, and the quickness with which he wins here. Oh, nice interception. Oh, or not.
Split.
Is not passive. Like he's one of those kneecap beaters. right? And he's just right off the snap play here, tries to go for the up and under. Splits. Nice. Good bull, good drive. Very, very consistent with the lower half motor in particular. He's doing a great job of keeping those legs moving throughout the entire duration of the play. Nice. Good move. Good job drawing the double team. Good coverage on the back end. Unfortunately, they only rushed three, so they have a little bit more help than normal. And even still, he ends up getting around the double at the end. Again, only a three-man rush, and they're still kind of moving him in the pocket. Right at the end there, still past the right tackle, avoids the guard who switches on. Forces a pretty difficult throw. Okay, stunt move. Nothing really too fancy. The one thing I like about this particular play that you really get to see is you really get to see this explosiveness in the first step.
Yeah.
So obviously we talked about the get off, but watch how quickly he gets up to the blocker with that movement. Nice job drawing a double team. And yeah, the motor, especially with the all-22 film, you really get a vibe for the motor.
Yeah, like on that one play that you were talking about, it's like you could see his legs are always moving.
Well, even on this play, he's running all
Yeah,
over the field.
yeah. And then forces that,
4th and 5. Three-man rush on a 4th and 5
and he splits two.
for the 10th time this game, probably.
Yeah.
And then because of that, you're able to work number 8 around the end,
Pretty sure that's
flushes it.
Treon.
Okay. Flushes him out. And then because he has to roll so far over to avoid the
He
backside
goes to
rush.
that guy. He has to throw that.
So, I see why we tried to trade up for him in the first round. I would have been absolutely happy with that, let alone at 41. Um,
Yeah.
Definitely my defensive tackle. Now, to be fair, I didn't really watch that many defensive tackles this year. But definitely my defensive tackle number one.
Yeah.
And yeah, so let me rock through here and switch over to my grade sheet on this thing here. Okay, roll grade. I think he's a 3-down rotational guy. This is a
Yeah.
defensive tackle, so it's going to be rotational just by nature. Concerns, I don't have any. Certainly not anything mental, certainly not anything athletic, or anything
Yeah.
along those lines, so none. Player comparison, I'm interested to see what you think about this, but the one that came to my mind, and this is probably just being a lazy comp, but um, I am seeing the vibes that kind of remind me of Vita Vea. A little bit smaller than Vea was, obviously, by like
Ooh.
50 pounds. But in terms of that underrated pass rushing ability, but still having that core strength, that functional strength, being able to split and shed doubles, obviously the same system coming out, given that they were literally from the same school. Uh,
Um. Uh. I'm just trying to think of one. This is not comps are not my strong suit. Full admission.
I'll give you a list of some other higher end defensive tackles in the league. Fletcher Cox, Chris Jones, Cameron Hayward, Grady Jarrett, Sheldon Rankins, Kenny Clark, Michael Pierce, Akeem
Um,
Hicks, DeForest Buckner.
well, here's and well, I mean, sort of, especially because the size. One thing that I think, basically, one thing that I comparison that I kind of like is Shelby Harris.
Okay.
Granted, Shelby was not as strong and is a bit better of a pass rusher, but especially with their relentless motor, their their ability to split gaps, their ability to their high motor, being a little bit on the smaller side, but still perfectly fine. Someone who'll play three tech, who's better at the three tech. I think that if if he becomes a bit better of a pass, if he shows some of his pass rushing upside, Levi does, I think it could be a good. He could be a better Shelby Harris, which is basically just a better run defender. I think he has that potential. May not be the best, but that was the first one that popped into my head.
Nice. Biggest strength is probably going to be burst and motor.
Yeah,
Step explosiveness, however you want to put it.
explosiveness probably is the way I put it.
Biggest weakness, kind of hard to
Lack
tell.
lack of pass. I'd say lack of pass rushing moves.
I do felt
Not
like
that.
though we got to see a spin, we got to see a rip, we got to see a club.
Okay.
Defensive tackle, that's not. I mean, like if it were an edge rusher or whatever, and they were under fine, then sure. But
Um. Some.
I
I
guess
mean,
the
it's
biggest thing, the biggest thing that I can think of would be two gapping. But
yeah,
even then, we got to see him face double teams. So but I will say a lot of what we saw was him splitting and one gapping and penetrating.
yeah.
So maybe two gapping and kind of being
Hmm.
that he's not gonna have to do that, which is why we're so high on him here. Uh,
Yeah. But
for
I'd
me,
say
oh,
the main one is yeah. That would be it. The main ability is the main weakness. I would say not maybe pass rushing moves, but I'd say his lack of refinement. If that mean like he's just very raw.
lack of polish.
Yeah, lack of polish. That's a great way.
Okay, floor and ceiling. I have high floor, high ceiling. That I think is gonna be pretty good day one.
Yeah.
Based on what we saw there, ready to step and be a day one starter if we need him to be, if we want him to be, if he beats out the guys
Hmm.
ahead of him. But also that ceiling is top 10 to 15 defensive tackle in the league at his peak.
Yeah.
Best potential
Yeah.
also, regardless of that, pretty low. I have it at 10%. The two games that we watched were Washington State.
And Cow from 19.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna have to go Wash State so that it doesn't overflow the thing. Run defense for me, probably a 24. Again, the main reason why he
Yeah.
doesn't get the 25 is that penetration-based style of play. Pass defense, so mainly pass rushing. I'm going to say 23 there is still very, very solid in that particular area.
Hmm.
Athleticism, 24. Not a freakish athlete, but still very, very good.
Yeah.
And then mental is going to be 25. I talked about that throughout. Very aware, very sound, very disciplined.
Yeah.
So that is a total of minus one, two, three, four, which is 96. He's one of my highest grade players in the class, which is obviously optimistic. Uh, but I do think we got to see a lot of why he opted out and felt comfortable uh, declaring right away.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a pretty clear DT1 for me. I don't have him too much lower than I had Derek Brown last year. So one sentence summary is extremely high upside, but
But at worst,
also
you have a quality run defender.
yeah, but also a day one floor contributor.
Yeah.
So anything else that you have to add on what we saw from Levi?
No.
Sweet. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one as much as at least I did. Hopefully you had quite a bit of fun with this one too, Braden.
Yeah.
And definitely really excited to see what he's going to be able to do in Detroit next year. It probably not going to have to play a whole lot because of the defensive line depth rotation that we have. Kind of seeing here in Brockers, um, Williams, Pan, Strong, Atkins. I think is coming back because he was an opt out last year. Lots and lots of depth. Of course, McNeil, who we're about to watch as soon as we wrap this one up, as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of depth on the defensive line, and hopefully he won't have to play a whole heck of a lot. Keep an active, healthy, fresh rotation. Keep guys going full speed motor uh, throughout the entire course of the game. But definitely really looking forward to seeing what he does in his limited time this year and what he
Yeah.
ends up becoming more so in his second year, his third year. Once you hit that year three mark, a lot of your older guys, Brocker's probably gone in 3 years. Nick Williams should be gone after next year at the latest, heading into
Yeah.
2022. Deshaun Han may not be brought back with his injury history. He's expiring after this year. So as soon as 2022, he'll be a primary starter and definitely looking forward to seeing what he becomes over the course of the next 12 months or so.
All right.
But for now, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe and check back for the rest of the videos that we have coming out the rest of the night. Peace.